Hey, greetings from the Chakra Eco Lodge here in Costa Rica. Today I wanted to talk about this concept in Ayurvedic medicine that I see as relevant to pretty much every area of life and all things. And this is the concept that the primordial or root cause of all disease, is forgetting our true nature as spirit. So in essence, we have disconnected from the very source of our creation, creator, God, life, nature, whatever you want to call that. And that separation has caused a fracture that allows essentially dis-ease to enter in. So in modern day times, we might just call that stress, right? We get stressed because we forget that we are connected to all things. We get stressed because we go into a state of separateness, of saying, oh my God, I have to pay my rent, and oh my gosh, my kids I need to feed and take care of. And we go into separation in our mind, and that opens the doorway for fear, overwhelm, anxiety, depression, all of the frequencies or the energies that take us into that downward spiral and then proliferate. And so if our mind is vibrating at the frequency of stress or overwhelm or anger, frustration, anxiety, for a long enough period of time, then that frequency is going to affect our entire nervous system. The nervous system in turn is going to send all of that information out to the whole body, to our organs, to our tissues, to our muscles, to the entire physiology. And so this is how we go from health and alignment with who we truly are, our true nature. We call that prakriti in Ayurveda. And also how we disconnect and then end up with a dis-ease. And if you catch the disease early enough on, which might be your stress is rising, so you're going to start to bring yourself back into balance by saying, what do I need to do? Why am I allowing myself to buy into this perspective of fear, of anxiety, of overwhelm? Maybe I'm watching the evening news too many times a week or at all. Maybe I am eating foods that are out of sync with the season, or eating at irregular times, or in the middle of the night or before bed. Or perhaps you're in a relationship that you know is not in coherence with anything or definitely not where you want to be going, or a job. All of these things left unnoticed and left to just kind of keep playing out unconsciously will create a rub, will create friction, will create an awareness, i.e. dis-ease, or even a symptom, even if it's just something that you think is benign: gas, bloating, loose stool, diarrhea, itchy skin, insomnia, these things that we might not label as disease, but as a symptom. And some people may not even think of them as symptoms. They just think that's life. This is how life is. And it's not. It doesn't have to be. There is a communication from our body, and the body is an extension, an expression of the subconscious. So our body is talking to us constantly, and what a blessing. Thank God it is, because if it wasn't, all of a sudden we would wake up and be like, oh, I have arthritis. Oh, I have cancer. Often it can appear that these things do sort of pop up out of the blue, and many people are shocked that, oh, I have this diagnosis all of a sudden. It's never all of the sudden. In Ayurveda, we know that there are 6 phases of dis-ease. 6 phases. They're sometimes very subtle. And this is why it's so beautiful when we have a practice of awareness, of meditation, of mindfulness, because those subtle communications of our body or of our mind or our emotional body will not go unnoticed. And when we're willing to turn and look at what is coming into our awareness and what we're really being called to address or focus on, then we can resolve the energy of dis-ease. We can really address what needs to be addressed, what needs to be transmuted, whether that be physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. So I hope you find this interesting. As an Ayurvedic practitioner, I fell in love with this understanding of our human experience right out of the gate. It it actually brought me to tears the first time I ever read about this and learned about this at Ayurveda college. I was literally weeping because it rang such deep truth in my bones. It just felt like, aha, why has no one ever talked about this before? And I had also been struggling with my own autoimmune condition at that time. And even though I couldn't pinpoint why or what was going on for me, like to have this autoimmune condition, I was told, I got a virus in India, but I knew on a soul level there was something so much deeper. And it was a process of investigating my own psyche, my own relationship to my mind, and it took some time to really excavate the depths of what was going on. And honestly, to this day, there are still remnants, layers of refinement, of processes that I'm going to continue to refine the depths of my healing. And a lot of that has to do with calling back my power, taking full responsibility for myself, my life, for my creation of my life, for my desires, for my wants, for my thought processes, for my emotions, to take full responsibility for all of it, and to leave no part of my life a place that is a place of victimhood. I have experienced that energy of victimhood. I've seen it in my own life. I've seen it with clients that I've worked with for decades, that the frequency, the vibration of victimhood is one of the most insidious of frequencies that will create dis-ease very quickly and also slowly over time. Because it's not the truth of who we are, because it goes so against with our souls knowing that we are not here to be a victim. We're not here to be like, oh, poor me, oh, this happened to me and this happened to me. And let me be clear, I understand horrendous things happen on this planet every single day. It's not to excuse those things, but it's to say that there's an opportunity to look at whatever has happened in your life, whatever is currently going on in your life, from a different standpoint, where you are no longer victimized, where you can integrate, where you can digest the experience so it is no longer a trauma. Trauma is really unresolved, undigested experience. In Ayurvedic medicine, we call this residue ama, or toxicity. And we can have physical ama that builds up in the body and creates disease. We can have mental and emotional and energetic ama, or toxicity, that builds up in our system and creates havoc everywhere. So I thought I'd start with this video and share one of the most important concepts to understand of why you might be having symptoms or being unwell on whatever level that is. And it's usually not just physical, like barely ever. And I don't think people like hearing that. Remember, I'm just the messenger. I don't like hearing that. I didn't like hearing that until I realized it's not about blaming myself for being unwell. And I had an autoimmune condition that was almost 10 years long. It lasted a very long time. But when we get to see that, oh, it's not about blaming yourself for having any kind of symptoms or disease, but to see that we can have a different relationship to it, one that is more empowered, and one that we're really in conversation and communication with our body and our psyche and what's going on underneath the surface. So I'm not just painting a broad stroke saying at all that anything is your fault if you have a symptom or disease. And I'm also saying that there is a way to shift and transform your relationship to it, to make it one of empowerment and one that you can literally begin to heal. And I'm using my words mindfully here because in Ayurveda we see that healing and curing are different. Often we want a cure. We're like, just cure me, just give me the pill, just give me the whatever to cure me. And true healing occurs when there's a reintegration back into harmony, coherence with our divine nature, with our prakriti, with our true essential self. And that's really all the work that I do in the world. You know, years ago, people would come to me for an Ayurvedic consultation, kind of more traditional. I'd let them know what their dosha was, what their current imbalance was. I'd feel their pulse, I'd look at their tongue, we'd look at their symptoms, we'd create a protocol. based on what they came with. And I did that for many years, and it's very powerful. What I found was even more powerful was to go right to the root cause. What is really causing the imbalance? What is really causing the disease? Because we can change our diet, we can change our lifestyle and health practices, exercise practices. All of that is important, necessary, fantastic. But until we really look at what is the root cause, where is this separation inside of yourself that you feel separate, that you feel victimized perhaps from life itself, from someone in your past, from your family, from a partner, from a religion, a spiritual group, wherever it might be. We can all experience that victimized energy until we wake up to a greater level of consciousness where we realize, oh, that was an interpretation. Or, oh, wow, I just gave my power away. Often it's unconscious. So this is where we don't blame ourselves. We just understand that we can open up and wake up to a new possibility that will, in fact, bring healing into our lives. So I want you to know that there's hope no matter what you're going through. There is hope for transformation. There's hope for true healing. So let me know in the comments below if anything resonated from this video, and please subscribe to my channel. I would love to share with you here more often. And if you know of anyone that needs to hear this information or would really benefit from watching this video, send it along to them. Why not? All right, much love, and I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.